This is Doug Anderson for PCM Precis, and welcome to the November 2013 ONA Provincial Coordinators Meeting here at the beautiful Weston Harbor Castle.
Doug, we don't move here until 2014. Everybody's at the PCM at the Royal York.
We'll be right back. As I was saying, welcome to the beautiful Royal York Hotel in Toronto for the November 2013 ONA Provincial Coordinators Meeting. The Human Rights and Equity Caucus is held every November, the day before the PCM or Biennial Convention starts. It provides an opportunity for designated groups and friends and allies to recommend how ONA can advocate for human rights and respect in all of our workplaces. It launched with a poignant story.
Name calling, I guess, is kind of what it was in the work field, and just a lack of remorse on the nurse's part, the perpetrator nurse's part, of what I was feeling or why that was wrong, why that was unprofessional.
When it comes to communication,
Keynote speaker Nora Spinks provided tips on how to engage younger members.
Nora, this year Ontario Nurses Association is entering into a round of bargaining happening very soon. Can you tell us how we might apply a generational lens to this bargaining?
I think the first thing that bargaining needs to consider is the fact that the younger generations are really part of the customization generation. What they do want is they want a sense of autonomy and control and recognition of individuality within the bargaining process.
My priority for 2014 is to be out in the membership talking to our leaders and members about the issues that strike them and are making it difficult for them in their workplace. I know that issue is workload, and I'm committed to working on it with you.
My number one priority for 2014 is going to be the engagement of my members at the bargaining unit level as well as my leaders, and hearing what they have to say in regards to their workplaces and bringing those issues back to ONA.
Premier, we're really thrilled that you're here, and welcome to ONA, and welcome to a great group of nurses and allied health professionals.
The reality is that the official opposition has a real problem with organized labor, with unions. And in fact, they want to bring in right to work, right to not good jobs policies, which are, they're an attack on labor unions. They're an attempt to pit workers against each other, and I am determined not to let that happen.
The College of Nurses statistics just showed that we had 800 fewer full-time nurses, registered nurses in Ontario last year. What can your government do for the nurses of Ontario to improve our working conditions so that we can provide that great quality care to all of the people of Ontario?
Yeah. One of the things that that I have questions about is how is there such a discrepancy between the numbers that you may bring to the table or we may bring to the table? I just don't know the answer to that, and I'm not going to pretend that I do know the answer about why there's that discrepancy. But I think it does go to the heart of our relationship. How do we work on a common understanding of who is in the system and who's not, and what the money that we're putting into the system is buying or not?
Members heard about the fight for nurse-to-patient ratios from our sisters in New York.
Jill, please come forward. We are very excited to have you here today to share with us.
We were able to get a court ruling. A judge in Brooklyn, New York, made a ruling, and it stands today, that the Department of Health Services cannot close hospitals without taking into account the healthcare needs of a community.
ONA is also leading the fight for proper nurse workloads and moving into high gear on political action.
That means advertising, it means lobbying the government, it means being out in the community, it means litigation, it means arbitration, negotiation, so the whole union coming together. But the most important piece is the mobilization and engagement of our members and staff.
My top priority for 2014 would be fighting the government. We need to ensure that Tim Hudak does not get into power. This will affect not only our working lives, but our union lives. This is the fight of our life. ONA's never been political, but we need to be political now.
And I can't think of a more important priority than ensuring that each of our members are educated on what the plan is for the Conservatives if they do get elected. I think it's vitally important that our members know about the attack on unions, actually the attack on the entire labor movement.
The other main focus of the year ahead is bargaining.
To me, the clear leader in terms of priorities is around workload for our membership. They call it workload, safe staffing, protection of bargaining unit work. They're all different ways of saying the same thing, and very much that relates to the fact that there are still not enough nurses, number one, and number two, we've got to find a way to stop the cuts and return staffing levels to the point where members are able to give the kind of care that they were both trained and educated to provide, and really that the public should demand.
The number one issue that I plan to work on next year is getting our members to fill out professional responsibility workload forms. It's been identified in the Have a Say questionnaire that workload is the number one issue facing our members in Ontario, but yet as I travel around and members talk to me about workload issues and I ask them have they used the language that's in their collective agreements to fill out professional responsibility workload forms, they say no, they haven't got time.
I look towards members being able to say that they are proud owner members and that the Ontario Nurses Association represents them in their workplace.
Linda Haslam Stroud is celebrating her 10th year as president. She spoke to our reporter Joanne Shannon about the highlights.
I've known you a long time. We were members together, we were LCs together, and as you enter your 11th year as provincial president, unprecedented 11th year I might mention, what do you think the three things ONA can be the most proud of?
Probably the first thing would be our collective agreements and the successes that we've had in collective bargaining. And also, in addition to that, the fact that our staff and our elected leaders are out there ensuring that we maintain those rights on the front lines. So that would be one. I think the second thing would probably be the number of nurses and allied health professionals that we actually now represent. When I started in 2004 as provincial president, I think we were around 40,000, and we're now up to 60,000 strong. And the third thing I think that resonates with me, and this is each and every day, is the power that we have in the collective, the voice of registered nurses and allied health professionals in Ontario, that the public, the government, and our employers know that ONA is a force to be reckoned with. And I'm very proud of being able to assist our leaders to be those advocates, whether it's at the bargaining unit level, the local level, the provincial level, or the federal level. ONA is there, and they know we're not going to give up.
The celebration of ONA's 40th anniversary is coming to an end, and members toasted our past by sharing fond memories.
I have to say the best memory I ever have was of an annual meeting way back when, and we had Second City entertain, and it was the funniest ever. I mean, everybody was in hysterics, lots of camaraderie, you met all kinds of lifelong friends, but that was the funniest and most memorable biennial ever.
The hospital was cutting nurses to the bone, the RNs. So what we did was we went on door-to-door campaign, and we were knocking on the doors of the neighborhood and letting them know that the hospital in the neighborhood is cutting nurses, the RNs, and replacing them with less skilled people, with PSWs and RPNs. And that was a good memory that I have.
The evening before independent assessment committee preparation,
I had a lot of our members that have worked for a year and a half on that project. We were in the 19th hour, I guess, working hard, and in through the door came Ann Clark, Vicki McKenna, Rosanna, Marilyn D, Mark Miller, all the support from ONA Central. And really, it meant the world to them.
Maybe 25 years ago, I remember the labor school that I was attending. And that's the first time I ever met Vicki McKenna. She was attending labor school at all. I don't know if she was a rep or at that time a president. And Sue Was, who's here today too. It was a week-long labor school in Kingston. And my biggest fear in those days, which I laugh now, is how to distinguish between a sector meeting and a joint sector and an annual meeting. And I thought, I am never going to get this right because it was very overwhelming. I was just a nurse rep at Hotel du Hospital.
Well, I'm sad to see our 40th birthday party come to an end, because I love a good party. But as I pack my bag and say goodbye to our 40th, I'm reminded of our slogan, a proud past and a powerful future.
But of course, our number one priority is world peace.
Whoa, cut! Rogue VPs! Rogue VPs!
Doug Anderson for PCM Precis.